Testing. 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 Yeah, it's working. Okay. Testing. 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 It's working. Okay. Everything I said didn't come through. No, I guess I will say it shorter. Didn't come through. I guess I will say it. I am on here because I've been procrastinating my homework for the past 3 hours on my own. Try to get it done, and now I'm going to use Twitch to get myself to focus with the concept that is body doubling, which is helpful for neurodivergent people such as myself who find the idea of having someone else in the room not to do the task but to body double while I am doing the task. I don't know why it works, but it gives us a sense of accountability. It without pressure. And I don't know how to explain that better. I bet there's a billion resources to explain it better, but that is what I have right now. Okay, so I don't even care what I actually get started on. I just want to get started on something. But I did make a panecito y café y mis ancestros de Mexico. If I have any, I'm not sure if I do. Pero sí tengo ancestros in Mexico. This is an ode to you. Okay. Because this shit's delicious and speaks to my soul. Maybe this is my stream. You're just gonna watch me drink coffee and eat panecito. Oof, that's a boring stream. I'm okay with that though. My brain has tricked itself to thinking it's working right now because it's on Twitch stream. I don't know if that's actually true because I'm very reflective. And hard on myself. I don't know where it went. Okay. I'm gonna get my book reader thing to stand. I'm gonna check what I have due. This. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna put my book up. I'm gonna start my timer. I'm gonna do work. That is my goal. Woo. Where the fuck did all my tabs go? I'm about to freak the fuck out. Where are my tabs go? Where are tabs? Close them. I closed all my tabs. Okay. It's fine. It's important. It's fine. It's important. Okay, see you tomorrow. Chapter 9. Ugh. It's hard to read a chapter about culturally responsive and sustaining practices when the world wants to demonize DEI and say that that's the root of our problems. And the fact that most of the world has gotten on board with this and said, sure, here's the shit out. And if you don't know why, I could in a nutshell tell you it's because DEI in a nutshell, diversity, equity, and inclusion means that we're thinking about the populations that aren't normally thought about and making sure that they're thought about. That's what DEI is. Making sure they have access to to resources and education and everything that everyone else has access to. When we know that systemic problems exist in every workplace system that exists. I don't know if that's true. I think that's true. I would say that's true. Okay, so topics in this chapter: changing times, changing demographics, changing approaches, the culture wars, critical race theory, CRTs, social emotional learning, social justice advocacy and anti-racism, understanding diversity, the influence of culture on counseling, multiculturalism, creating a culturally compatible climate. Student learner outcomes. Explore your personal beliefs, biases, attitudes, and knowledge about working with diversity in populations. Describe the variables that encompass diversity to include that are not limited to ethnic, racial identity, nationality, age, economic status, abilities, disabilities, language, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, family type, religious, spiritual identity, and living situations, including emancipated minor status, wards of the state, houselessness, or incarceration. Explain the impact of poverty, socioeconomic status, culture, and ethnicity on student achievement. Analyze data to identify the gaps among diverse student populations. Describe strategies and skills for promoting student success through culturally sensitive advising and counseling. Design strategies to raise the conscious level of faculty, admin, and staff to better serve populations from an increasingly diverse population. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. Sure, I like that. Shit, now click fucking timer. Now click fucking timer. Okay, so that first chapter was basically changing times, changing demographics, changing approaches. So, minority populations are now majority population. So there are more brown and black population students than there are white students. Are now the majority. Blah blah blah. But they're saying that a lot of schools continue to reflect segregation housing patterns where certain people with certain incomes get housed or get um, get partitioned into certain areas, even if the partitions literally are based on income. And so, therefore, schools are segregated based on income, and richer schools get more resources because they are more funded, and the lower income schools are more poorly resourced, have more turnaround in staff, have less experienced staff, things like that. Hi, how is the stream going? Hi. Things like that. Yes, it's going well. I'm doing my homework. How is your? You're not doing my homework. Weird question. How is your day going? Weird question. Return. Okay. So next chapter is Culture Wars, Critical Race Theory, and Social Emotional Learning. Public schools once again have become a battlefield in the culture wars that divide our nations. Clashes have escalated over such issues as how public school educators, including teachers and school counselors, talk about race, gender, sexual orientation, and other sensitive topics, resulting in attempts to establish legislative limits on the specific content of classroom instructions and programs and services. I am in graduate school to become a school counselor, but not just a school counselor. I'm also studying to be an individual therapist. That includes like couples therapy and family therapy and child therapy and adolescent, all the therapies. Let's see. The number of students who are being harassed because of their race, religion, gender identity, or sexual orientation continue to escalate. The rise in hate crimes reveals extensive social media postings and comments against people of color, immigrants, Jewish people, Muslims, women, gender nonconforming people, LGBTQ plus, UI plus populations, and others. Racist actions of national, state, and local leaders and policies and practices are making the lives of many black and brown students difficult and challenging. Unarmed young black men continue to be killed or disproportionately at disproportionately high rates. Attacks against people of color, Jewish people, and Muslims continue to be committed by people whose manifestos indicate that they believe in white nationalism and that people without a white European background do not deserve to live in the United States. daily media broadcast brings this all to our attention. Time will tell whether these events and the many others that continue to occur will lead to an outcry by people of all races to change the policies and practices that discriminate against people of color, those who have families with lower income, the LGBTQI plus communities, and those who practice a religion other than Christianity and others. Hi, there seems to be nice vibes in here. Thank you. I have nice vibes. I like my vibes, but I'm also doing homework, so you might not like my vibes. So look, it's all the words that Trump is saying are evil. Right in this chapter that we're reading. Maybe that's gonna be my reflection. I bet other people's reflection are about that. Racism is an inflammatory issue in America, and as a result, schools are adopting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Ongoing debates over what should be taught in school and banning books driven largely by fear and misunderstanding continue both in state legislators and local school districts. The complex topic of critical race theory has been confused with topics taught in schools such as social emotional learning and all diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism initiatives in pre-K through 12 schools. People are just stupid. What is critical race theory? What is oh my god, read. What is its relationship to other terms like anti-racism and social justice, with which it is often confused? Proposed more than 40 years ago, critical race theory is an academic concept generally taught at the university level that examines systemic and institutional holy fuck dyslexia institutional racism in jurisprudence, laws, and legal institutions. Emerged. Oh, this is a very good. Okay. So the thing I'm currently drawing on is the idea behind how my profession is not separate from DEI, critical race theory, um, privilege, all these words that are um, that are labeled as bad by the conservative right side, and they're using these words as reasons why the world is in chaos. And I just do not understand the concept. They think that people fighting for LGBTQ plus rights or people fighting for abortion rights is the reason why our country is in the shitter. And I don't know how our country is in the shitter. And I don't know how these Christian nationalists can be like, love, like, God is my end all be all, but then watch and support and cheer as the right conservative people continue to murder people left and right. Because of their race, because of their sex, because of their income, because of their beliefs, and that's where we're never going to win, is because we fight for basic human rights and the other side is willing to destroy basic human rights. And we believe in basic human rights for all, which includes those fuckers. We're never going to win. It's the good guy fighting against the bad guy who's willing to murder and kill your entire family just to make a point. And we're like, save the children, even your children. Because everyone deserves to be saved. And y'all are like, well, y'all murder unborn babies, so let's kill your whole population. That's very simplified, but ugh. Ugh. Anyways. Let me continue reading over these policies that should be part of my profession that are currently being condemned as markers for non-compliance in certain states and are currently being witch hunted, markers of witch hunting for people that believe these things should be implemented in schools and taught to students so that they can critically think about issues and systems and histories and laws and why things are the way that they are. And yet, because of policies created by idiots in the Oval Office who hired idiots to run really important programs such as the Department of Education, we are now being told individually that adding these things to our curriculum might be cause for termination or is highly discouraged. So it's just not. It makes me want to turn evil and be the mean people so that I could take out the mean people and then just be nice to everyone left. It was like, yeah, just be nice to everyone left. Okay. Differences are evident along ideological lines, with liberals expressing the most trust. 64% of liberals trust teachers to teach US history. That drops to 50% among conservatives, while 52% of liberals trust teachers on various topics, including how the history of racism affects America today. Just 39% of conservatives feel the same way, with moderates in between. One teaching issue related to gender and sexuality, trust runs from between On teaching issues related to gender and sexuality, trust runs from 45% among liberals to 32% among conservatives. Conservatives and moderates are more skeptical than liberals of teachers on the topics of civics and student social and emotional growth. Only 33% of black adults trust teachers on handling racial and ethnic diversity compared with about half of others. I don't even know that they're measuring the same thing because one is measuring whether they are doing it and the other one's measure whether they're doing it right. But I bet when they were getting their data, it was getting their confidently done. I hope. Well, even fucking. At least I'm on my phone now. Take a break. At least I'm on my phone now. Take a break. One more. Yeah. Screaming. Focus. Yeah. Screaming. Focus. Someone scratched my armpit on stream. Okay, Eva. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Timer. Okay, I'm back. And an existential crisis, but I'm back. Okay, next page. How many pages are in this chapter? I'm looking at existential crisis. Holy shit, there's a lot of pages. Okay, let's go through this faster. No more goofing. Okay, let's start the timer and no more goofing. No goofing, no more goofing. Oh yeah, the next one's social justice. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, 9 social justice competencies that still resonate today. Let's see. Number 1, become knowledgeable about the various ways that oppression and social inequities manifest themselves at an individual, cultural, and societal level. Oh my god, I can't fucking read my fucking. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Like, it's not that I'm reading it out loud, it's that I'm doing that in my head, and that's how it's coming up. Participate in ongoing critical reflections on the issue of race, ethnicity. Stop picking your head. Oppression, power, and privilege. I have chronic dandruff. Why? My doctor thinks it's because I am diagnosed immunocompromised recently as of last year. And one of the side effects of being immunocompromised with either Sjogren's or lupus is also common to have chronic dandruff. What is chronic dandruff? It's way worse than regular dandruff. Like, what regular dandruff is like, oh look, there's flakes, ha ha ha. Mine is like, oh look, there's scabs on my fucking head. At least they don't itch, but I could feel them. And I'm a skin picker because of ADHD or autism or both. And let me say this out loud. Because maybe one day I'll talk on it or something. If if autism and complex PTSD display the same, meaning they have the same characteristics. Are they saying, then wouldn't, while someone is working through it, be relevant to diagnose them with something that could potentially, if they are looking for that diagnosis, obviously, not to force it on them. If it fits both and you don't know which one, then diagnose for both if that's what they're seeking. Because one diagnosis can give you accommodations that could better your life, and you have to get re-diagnosed in 5 years anyways, so like it wouldn't stand as a like permanent diagnosis forever. But like the spectrum of neurodivergency is so broad that if someone is truly suffering from something along that spectrum, whether it be PTSD or autism, or a mixture of both, because it hasn't been searched or researched very well, especially in women of color. If we add another intersection, then especially women in color in the United States, let me add that other intersection. Then what was my point? Oh, then why not diagnose if it's gonna help that person live a better life, right? Like my diagnosis helped me get class accommodations and medicine that helps me focus and it doesn't fix all my problems, but it is like at least helping, and it makes me feel valid in my crazy. And I'm saying crazy in a like loving, like huggy kind of like dark humor way, not in a derogatory like shame way. Um, that's that's hard with dark humor because it's the difference between like you have to know the person's base belief to know that it's funny. Like if someone says a joke that is based on racist premises, but they're not being racist, they're just highlighting how racist society is. You have to know the person to know that that person is like actively um, being an anti-racist. Because to be an anti-racist, you have to know systemically that the world is racist. So really, your default is racism, which kind of sucks. Which is why people get like really mad. But because the world is racist and you grow up in the racism, we're all racist. And oh my god, it's such a hard concept to teach people who get really angry and feel like their entire beings are being threatened by being told that, well, because you grew up in this society, there are certain things that you are unaware of, that you have engaged with, that are based in racism, and so therefore you are in some ways racist because you have benefited from that privilege, regardless of if you knew it or not, especially if you're a white male. And that doesn't make you bad. That just makes you privileged. And privilege ain't bad. Privilege is just every if, privilege is getting things that you didn't necessarily earn. You were just gifted it. Like being born to a lovely family who like takes care of you and loves you and stuff. Which I know sounds sad, but for a lot of us traumatized kids, like our parents were trying their best, but there were a lot of things against them because of the things that I'm talking about: racism, racism against immigrants, racism against women, racism, sexism against women. Jesus Christ, things like that. So it's once we put all the pieces together, why our childhood sucked. We don't want to repeat those patterns, and we see those patterns in society. Um, of why our parents couldn't succeed and why we therefore didn't get very good childhoods. And so for me, with more access to education, more access to giving every place diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the populations that don't have those resources will get those resources, will be thought of to get access to those resources, and that's all DEI is. Jesus fucking Christ, the fact that we're having this debate. I fucking hate this fucking country. Fuck, 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 fuck. Okay, maybe it was good I read this chapter online because I'm fucking sick of this fucking country. I'm just gonna keep saying fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Okay. Let's continue. School counselors and anti-racist policies. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can add pictures too. Yes, I know that it doesn't matter. Great. I don't want all this. Means I'm not gonna read all of it because I already know it. Okay, that's chapter 9. Dummy. Okay, now we're gonna submit the test in 7 minutes and be done with this class. There's my timer. messaging me. Messaging me. Drinking my homework. Ooh. Why does it say desktop audio and mic audio? Desktop audio and mic. What is it playing? I don't know. Desktop audio. I don't know. Desktop audio. I don't care. I'll fix. Probably not. To say. School 1, 2, 3, 4. School 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, done with that. Let's see. Okay, so done with that. Let's see. This. Check. Okay. I have this here. Okay, let me check my phone. Break, right? I think so. I don't check my phone anymore. On the